Oh, bin ich gerade erschrocken. Wir sind wieder back.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
We are back.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't. Stanley clicked on literally every single door in the office because he doesn't pick up well on cues from his environment.
Oh, good. You notice my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Wieder was Spannendes zu zeigen. Okay. Oh, er hat wirklich was Spannendes zu zeigen, okay. Hier waren wir doch schon. Ich hatte, ja,
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever the Stanley Parable 2.
The end is never at the end again.
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
The Sync 2 printers at the same time. Ey, wie geil. Klar, mach mal.
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
Ja. Sequel ideas. Nude Stanley. Stanley can true access. Stanley get bones. Artistic free roommate. Dress mate. Jetpack. Okay. New content. Okay, okay. Geil. The Color Right, okay. Dieses Spiel. Kann ich spielen? Macht mir die Tür
Now,
auf.
to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
This way to the show floor, okay. Dann gehen wir natürlich diesen Weg hier. New features. New content, ja, ja. Wir gehen hier lang. Hier dürfen wir noch nicht rein. Ey, also dieses Spiel.
Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
The button that says the name of the player that is playing the game. Name, here, okay.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
Too big, too small, just right. Ey, das ist dieses Spiel. Okay, was denkt ihr? Funktioniert der Button oder funktioniert er nicht? Ich warte mal ein bisschen. Funktioniert er oder funktioniert er nicht? Ich sage, er funktioniert nicht. Ich brauche mal was anderes. Ich sag, der geht direkt kaputt. Und funktioniert nicht. Und er sagt dann sowas in der Art wie so, oh, damit haben wir noch gar nicht gerechnet. Das heißt, das müssen wir noch mal ein bisschen ausarbeiten. So. Ich drück mal den Button.
Jim.
Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim.
My name is Jim.
I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim, sleeping and waking as Jim, falling in love and being heartbroken as Jim, seizing all of the world's possibilities as Jim, and as Jim watching your dreams crumble into dust. Do you feel it deeply?
Ja,
Are you really, truly Jim right now?
Ich bin Jim.
If so, then please step forward and press the button.
Jim.
Yes! You see? What a thrill! What a rush! That was you! The button described you. Do it again. Do it again.
Yeah.
Jim.
Ooh, it hits even harder the second time. If this were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money. Let's take a break from the Jim button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal validation.
Jim.
Whoa there, cowboy. Sometimes a person can be too much Jim. I'm putting the Jim button away. Otherwise, soon you'll start to lose all sense of who you actually are.
Jim.
Nein, mein Jim-Button. Schade. Also ich hab's halbwegs richtig predicted, dass der Knopf natürlich nicht meinen Namen sagt. Das wäre kein Geheimnis. Also ich denke mal, der würde eher sogar meinen Steam-Namen sagen, als meinen richtigen Namen. Okay.
I suppose I could allow only people named Jim to play the Stanley Parable 2. That would actually save me the work of finishing this feature.
Oh, man kann hier hoch. Collectibles, das wäre cool. Gratis Erfolg. The Jump Circle, hier ist er.
You know what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle.
Oh, okay, ich dachte schon.
Oh, well.
Gib mir doch mal welche.
I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece then.
Jetzt bin ich ein bisschen depressiv deswegen. Oh Mann. You are here, okay. Wir gehen mal hier lang.
Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
Ja, 1 von 6. Cool. Can you find him? Can you find him? Can you find him?
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
Free new easy achievement. Na, gehen wir doch mal hin, ha? Get your rides now. Pull deliver, receive your new achievement. No more steps. Okay.
Now here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes, you see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the achievement will be given to you. It's as simple as that. Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the achievement is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
Ich will aber mein Achievement. Mann. Okay, hier kommen wir nicht lang. Mann, jetzt bin ich wieder tief traurig. Jetzt habe ich schon wieder mein Achievement nicht bekommen. Ich wollte nur mein Achievement. Naja.
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
Das hier noch nicht.
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with? You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Happy 12th birthday, step-niece, it is.
Wie dumm. Warum fragst du mich da nach meiner Meinung? Du Arschgesicht, Alter.
Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No, I've made my decision, we're moving on.
Aber wir sind hier wieder. Im Merch-Shop, okay. Okay. Okay, hier können wir nichts machen. Ja, auch nicht. Da hinten waren wir auch schon. Ist auch nichts. Hinten steht Exit. Wollte ich jetzt mal noch nicht hingehen. Okay. Wir kommen von hier. So, wir sind hier lang. Hier Z, B2. Okay. Was ist das? Ah, hier können wir noch. Doch, wir könnten hier lang. Gehen wir mal zum Infinite Hole. Das würde mich mal interessieren. Dieses Kissen.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is, in fact, a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium.
War das jetzt eigentlich ein Witz mit den Figuren sammeln oder kann man da wirklich Welten sammeln? Weil ich suche die ganze Zeit jetzt. Ah.
You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward. Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top. Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things.
Wieso denn?
Okay, Stanley, I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole. Is it a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a... Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling. What normal person actually wants to fall infinitely? I figured the hole was as deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the problem. Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the hole mostly infinite? If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready.
Great. Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel.
Na, er ist nur ein Betrüger hier. Ne? Also... Hier mit seinem unendlichen Loch. So, ich denke mal, hier sind wir soweit fertig, oder? Jetzt haben wir eigentlich nur noch den Ausgang. Hier ist ja das hier, aber sonst waren wir hier überall gewesen. Hier oben haben wir noch einen Weg. Hier haben wir was Neues. Ah, ne, da geht's nur da unten lang, okay. Ich dachte kurz. Immer wenn ich da hinten dieses Bild sehe, denke ich irgendwie an Star Wars. Und Darth Vader irgendwie, keine Ahnung wieso. Geht's hier lang? Okay. Schade. Wie hinten lang? Na, das ist so doof. Ich werde gerne springen können. Aber das habe ich ja schon alles verbraucht.
An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, it would go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
Okay. Okay, er sagt nichts mehr dazu. Wie kann ich Screenshots machen?
A common complaint of the Stanley parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I'm happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try. Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on and on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
Wir nehmen den einfach mal mit hier.
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
So, wir haben uns eigentlich jetzt hier alles angeguckt, oder? Das heißt, wir können eigentlich weiter. Schön hier, aber gefällt mir.
All right. Have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now?
Ich habe alles gesehen.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience.
Okay.
Okay. Are you ready?
Ich bin bereit.
Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2. I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on. Let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2. Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Oh, das ist ein Spiel in einem Spiel in einem Spiel. Okay.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Okay, das heißt, wir können jetzt rein theoretisch so Spielfiguren sammeln.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers. Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Der Eimer.
Stanley picked up the bucket.
Oh, hier kommen wir gar nicht mehr lang.
Stanley clicked on literally every single door in the office because he doesn't pick up well on cues from his environment.
Ich will ja auch hier die Dings. Okay.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on
Wir
his
gehen durch die
left.
linke Tür, natürlich. Schön reingucken, ob da nicht ein Dings ist. Bisher noch kein Sammelobjekt gefunden.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy. It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be. Given coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Boss's office.
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
Ach, diese Figuren. Ich liebe sie. Okay, hier können wir nicht lang.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire, if not for the suit. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation. Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands?
Mini-stands, yeah. Mini-stands.
What about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
Noch 3. Ich brauche sie alle. Komm, Eimerchen, wir gehen runter.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
Ich weiß, dass der Bucket für mich da ist.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Klar. Okay, wir sind 427.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
427, 427.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock.
Hier.
Everyone in the office was being videotaped,
Ja, das ist unser Büro.
monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen
427.
anything like this,
Das
and
ist
it
unser Büro.
very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it
Warte,
that
hier.
everything would
Ich
be
hab drauf
fine.
gezeigt. Vergiss es, aber man sieht's ja. Da ist es unser Büro. Und es ist wirklich unser Büro, ne?
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system. Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over? Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support, and... What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed? An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No, no, no. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least
At least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
Also wäre rausgekommen, hätte ich den aber jetzt nicht mitgenommen. Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Dog Mode? Ey, wie cool ist das denn? Da ist der Eimer, ich nehme ihn nicht mit.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference. Nor did Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over